The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.net.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines with hosts MJ, H-Train, and Terry. Each week we put today's news into perspective. Join us on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcast. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Here we are, and we're back.
Whammy! And I didn't even get to do the little thing or whatever.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, welcome to another edition of Behind the Headlines here on the station that's letting our veterans be heard. MBR, thank you for letting us come into your house and annoy you for an hour. Your host today is Tracy Rouse and her co-host, the most annoying voice of the Midwest, H-Train. How are you today, Trace?
I'm fine. How are you? You're not the most annoying voice, believe me.
Oh, give it time. I'm trying to make us go live on TikTok. Let's see if it's gonna let us go. What's on the agenda today? What's going on over in your neck of the woods?
If you want local news, there was some really unsettling news where I live, and it's two people were arrested. A stepfather and a mother were arrested for burying their child in their backyard.
Oh,
He was a 26-year-old special needs young man, and they couldn't find him. They did a health and welfare check for him, I guess, a couple days prior, and they said, oh, we'd taken him to the hospital, and he was pronounced at the hospital. So they verified that. No dice. That's not what happened. So they went back and they started digging in the backyard and found the young man, unfortunately. And so now they're trying to figure out what happened. They've taken his body to the coroner for an autopsy to see cause of death. But it was very unsettling because it's basically, I drive by the area every morning. So I was wow. That's not good news to hear things like that. I just don't know how you can even stay in a home where that's happened, or how you can live with yourself, or any of that. And the family of this young man, his extended family are like, well, we'll cooperate with anything you need from us, because we are devastated, and we are just lost with this guy, this young man being, well, whatever he was, he's not alive now. So however it happened, they're not in support of the mom at all, and they are ready to do whatever they need to do to take care of that young man. In past tense, they're going to report out on anything they need to.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
So it's not the same case where it was. I think the child's name is Irma or Emma or something like that.
No, that was a different one. They finally arrested the mom.
Okay.
Yeah, the one, the special needs child that was I think he was 5 or 6, and he lived in was it Kennedale or Everman? I think he lived in Everman, which is not too far from here, probably 15, 20 minutes. But I think they finally arrested her overseas. So they finally got enough cause to arrest her, I believe. Finally, after the child hadn't been seen for 2 years. Very sad.
Very sad indeed. Very sad indeed. Well, what is the world coming to?
I don't know how you harm a child, let alone your own child. I mean, I just can't imagine that at all. Not in any sense of any word can I imagine that.
What else? What else is in the news that has struck you today?
Well, so did you hear the Louvre was robbed?
The Louvre?
The Louvre in France, in Paris,
No, I didn't.
where the Mona Lisa is.
Oh
But
no,
the Mona Lisa wasn't taken.
of
But
course not. Who wants that ugly woman?
oh, no, so no, this is very interesting. So this is
Okay.
like a episode of the Pink Panther for real. Like the Pink Panther when they're stealing the jewels and they're getting away, they've got the heist going on and they're dropping in from the ceilings and they're doing all these things. It's like Mission Impossible. Jane Scotland Yard should be investigating and Inspector Clouseau should join the party. But so on Sunday, art thieves entered the Apollo Gallery of the Louvre in Paris and left with 8 items of jewelry. Of They couldn't even calculate how much they're worth. They're just, I mean, they have historical value, they have monetary value, but you really couldn't put a price on them. So among them was a crown. Well, a couple of crowns actually, and one of them had 212 pearls, and the other one had 3,000 diamonds. There were necklaces and other things that were taken, rubies and emeralds. No, actually, sapphires and emeralds were taken in a brooch. But they ended up, I guess, finding a couple of the pieces that they dropped. So they got some of them back. They got 3 pieces back, but the rest of them are gone. So I found that really interesting. And the way they got in was they acted like construction crew.
Mm.
So they cut open the cases that they were in, but it's like, why wasn't there better vetting? They had to have been somebody that had been there before and knew the layout of the Louvre. It's
Well,
a
and
pretty big
whenever
building.
there's anything like this, it's always some kind of like an inside job. There's always something because you have to know how the doors work. You have to know, because every building there's always that door. Hey, you just gotta jiggle it, or hey, there, when you turn the right corner, make sure that you don't hit that camera because that camera, it's gonna hit the blind set. So whenever whenever that shooting happened uh, with that Kirk
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk, even they were saying that this isn't something that you act alone on. Like whenever something happens like this, like there's some kind of an inside job. There's some kind of a barrier that that's released. It doesn't just happen to where somebody got by. No, nobody got by. Somebody got paid or something. It's not has nothing to do with like conspiracy theory or anything like that. Just know that whenever something big like this happens, there's some involvement in a group, and sooner or later it'll get caught because there's no what do they call it? There's no respect among thieves. There's always somebody
Honor among
that
thieves. Yeah.
yeah. There's always somebody that isn't that nice. We haven't even been on the air for 2 minutes and we already got our we TikTok says that we're blocked from generating money. You must not know us very well.
Right. We're not in it for the money. So take that, TikTok.
People are funny. People are hilarious. Oh, and I this is a message for all people, veterans, interns, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to monetize, you can totally do that. You can totally do that. There's steps by doing it. But word of advice, if you have 20 followers, don't call into work and say, I found a new job. I've got a life on TikTok now. It takes at least like 430,000 followers for you to begin monetizing. And that's just the hard facts. So
That's
instead of
crazy.
worrying about monetizing, Instead of worrying about making money, worry about your content, worry about you changing things, worry about trying to make an impact on life instead of making an impact on your wallet. And with that being said, that runs into the next story that I kind of want to cover,
Okay.
which I want to talk more about it, and as the White House turns. But I've been running rapid today, talking to some people, and everybody's all excited, like, hey, we had like 7 million or 8 million people at this protest, and this happened Saturday and all this stuff. And this isn't trying to throw shade at anybody at all. Okay, this is just the honest truth. This is the second protest that you guys have done, and within 6 months. All right, unless something is happening, because I mean, even the government shutdown, we just, before we got on the air, we even checked it. Still government shutdown, still down. Okay, guess what? Your protest didn't do shit. All right. Instead of protesting something that is not going to do anything whatsoever at all, protest something that is going to make a change. Like, for example, and this is just thinking outside the box, like the Richard Starr Act. That's something that progressively that's going to pass eventually. It hasn't passed yet, but it's going to eventually pass. If you guys would have did a protest for the soldiers for the Richard Starr Act, people would have paid attention and they would have looked at that. And then when you have their attention, then you can say, okay, well, this worked on this. We need to work on doing the same kind of protest on, this next thing. Just remember, you don't go to somebody else's house, knock on the door, and ask them if you can take a shit in their toilet unless you know them. Okay, it's the same thing with the government. If you don't have something that you're progressively impacting or progressively doing, and you don't have that nice little line, that fine line that you're walking, then your efforts are never going to move the needle at all. And that's just the honest truth. That's just the honest truth. When I heard about the protest that was going Saturday, my exact thoughts were, oh, that's cute. That's, at least you can get dressed up and get some views and likes on social media, do a couple of TikTok videos, because right now, the only thing that you've done with this protest is you've had other people mock you. Like, we're making fun of you. We're laughing at you because we already know that there's no kings. Okay, like, and I had a couple of battle buddies that went on this protest, and I'm just thinking to myself, come on, man, you was in the military, as well as I do how this works.
Right.
And it's just, that's how it is in life, and we can point the finger, and this goes towards the politicians, because I saw, what's his name, the Speaker of the House. He was sitting there on his soap dish talking about how Democrats doing this and not doing this, and they're not well, let me tell you something, Senator House, you're a representative. We all know that when we were growing up as children, that we were always taught that you're going to get more flies with honey than vinegar. The moment that you start slinging mud, or the moment that you start disrespecting anybody, everything that you just said before then, it goes all out the window. People don't like being disrespected. People don't like being put in the defense mode. And they sure as hell don't like being put, well, you did this and blah, blah, blah. That's the only way this government shutdown is going to be fixed, is if you all swallow your ego.
Yes, exactly.
Sit down at the table and say, look, we wanted to get this passed, but we are not going to pass it because of this. So since we're not going to pass it because of this, What do you want us to take off the bill for the table just to get this damn thing passed?
Right.
And then we can shelf this conversation and then we can talk it over. No. We would rather bring cameras into the Senate, get views and get media likes and all that stuff rather than fixing the issue. Yeah, Justin Dangerly said that he was thinking about running for office. We need somebody that's going to run for office that has character, that isn't that doesn't have a behind the door agenda. That's what we
Right.
really need.
Yeah.
And I'll let us go on break when you're done with your thought.
Well, I mean, that's why we don't need career politicians.
Right.
I mean, they need to have term limits too, because they don't have the people's will in mind when they do some of these things. You know, if you want to protest anything, protest the government shutdown.
Yeah.
Like protest, you know, they're disagreeing on something, figure out a way to find some common ground and get the people back to the table, because, you know, really who's suffering in all this? It certainly isn't the senators and the congressmen, it's the people.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
if the
exactly
people
right.
are the ones
So
suffering,
hey, look at Mitch McConnell. I think the Senate, House, and all of them, I think there should be like a rule like in boxing. Once you fall down twice within a year, you should be voted out.
he's out. He's tapped out. Like call it. It's a
knockout.
It's a technical knockout. So
It is.
just call it. You know, just tap him
Literally.
out.
I'm like,
Tap him
dude.
out. Like, I mean, I think they should maybe have to pass a physical too, just like the president does, to make sure they're healthy. And you know, if they're not of cognitive mind and body to handle the job, they shouldn't be in the job.
Pete Hegseth, get on that PT test.
That's right.
Congress and Senate.
That's right. Give them a physical test and
yes.
you know, yeah. You know, no, I'm not really about that. I mean, we kid, but I mean, seriously, if you are not well, you shouldn't be serving in that role, because you need to be well and healthy and you need to be of sound mind and body to do that job. So yeah, I agree with you. So I guess we should go on break real quick.
We should go on break, and everybody, if you want to help our self-esteem, go on TikTok and beat that screen.
Well, we're going to give you the Reese Across America ad, because you know what? That's super important to us in this platform. So we want you to take note of it and buy a wreath if you can.
Hell yeah.
At Military Broadcast Radio, the goal is to offer a platform for mental health advocacy while connecting the military community through various media platforms. Founded by U.S. Army veteran Joel Hunt, MBR gives a voice to veterans, first responders, and their families through streaming radio, podcasts, video, and outreach events. With its leadership run completely by veterans and hosts of the diverse programming from all branches of service, MBR was created as a response to the silent battles veterans face after service. Military Broadcast Radio is also a Wreaths Across America partner, hosting a $5 back sponsorship group page. For every veteran's wreath sponsored through the Military Broadcast Radio page, MBR receives $5 back to help support their platforms and outreach. Veteran and first responder stories need to be told and shared. And with your support, MBR can continue to bring together veteran nonprofits, mental health organizations, and government agencies to bridge the gap between veterans and vital resources. To find out more and donate, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org/MBR.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And we're back on MBR, where we're giving veterans a voice and we're letting veterans' voices be heard.
Yep.
Hey, you know, I think they should, I guess what Trump should do, if he can, or somebody in his cabinet, somebody with that authority, is say, okay, well, if you're not paying any of the rest of the employees, then since you're an employee of the federal government, you shouldn't be paid either. So until you guys want to come to the table and have a come to Jesus meeting and figure something out, well, you guys aren't getting a paycheck either.
You know, I just find it really interesting that government shutdowns didn't exist until after 1976. That's really telling.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me right there what needs to happen. So, you know, if I was in office, like the first two things that I would change right off the bat, you give whoever one, whatever you want. Okay, no problem, no problem. We're gonna make sure that these two things are on the shelf, though. When we're in a government shutdown, you get paid if the military gets paid. Nobody gets paid other than that. Nobody. The second thing that I would make sure is I would put in there term limits. Term
Yes,
limits.
absolutely.
Big time term limits. It just blows my mind that we have we can't have same president for 8 years, but yet we can have the same senator that freezes up on camera and falls on his ass on TV not once but twice in a lifetime, and he's not retiring.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Seriously.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. And if we had term limits, I don't think we'd be facing the shutdown right now, honestly. I
No,
think
I
we'd
don't
have
think so
people
either.
that are willing to negotiate, willing to talk, willing to figure it out. I think these people that are longtime politicians just don't have any vested interest in doing that.
And that's exactly, and I tell you what, we can, it's kind of describing that verse in the Bible where, man doesn't live on bread alone, but the word of God. We as Americans, and I need to do better than that. We need to like look into this bill on like everything that they're proposing.
Right.
Like, I don't care what Vance says. I don't care what any of the politicians say. I want to read it. I want to see exactly what is this bill proposing. What are they saying? Because I keep hearing that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I keep hearing that they're blanking and saying that they want to change premiums on like Medicare, Medicaid, and stuff like that for Americans, but yet the majority of Americans that are on Medicaid and Medicare right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right now in this country is illegal immigrants.
Well, not all. I mean, but yeah,
Oh
there
no, I'm
are
not saying
some.
I'm not
But
saying all. I'm just saying
yeah.
the majority of it. The majority of it is illegal immigrants, and I would like to know if the bill that they're proposing, and that's the reason why this government shutdown is keeping on shutdown. Does it distinctly say in the bill illegal immigrants, or does it just say Medicare and Medicaid? Because if that's the case, then it's okay. Democrats, or not Democrats, but Republicans, you're just adding to the narrative to fit your agenda.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what the percentages are of, American citizens versus people that may have immigrated or legally or illegally immigrated that are on it. I really don't know. I don't know the facts and figures of that. It would be interesting though
Actually,
to
while
know
you're talking, I'm going to look up on what are the bullet points of this bill that's causing the government to stay shut down. I'm gonna look that up now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be good to know. I think it would be good for all US citizens to know what's really included in the bill and why there's such a sticking point. And then once we truly delve into the details and we find out what those sticking points are, then we talk to our senators, our congressmen, and we get them, to figure out a solution that the government gets funded because just belaboring and putting government workers off and not paying them is not a solution. It's not
So
a solution.
it's stating that here are the key bullet points for why the U.S. government is shut down as of October 1st, 2025.
Okay.
12 annual federal appropriate bills, which fund most of the government for this fiscal year, were not enacted by the deadline September 30th. That's one. No continue resolution, CR, or stopgap funding measure was passed in time to keep agencies operating at current funding levels. There is a partisan stalemate over what the short term funding measure and longer term appropriations should include. Democrats are seeking to include extensions of subsidized programs under the Affordable Care Act, ACA, and reverse certain Medicaid cuts. Republicans have pushed for a clean CR, funding at current levels without added policy changes to extend the deadline and continue negotiation. Because the deadline passed without an agreement, government agencies lacking funding must stop non-essential operations per the law. The Efficiency Act until Congress authorized spending. So yeah, that's the information. I'm gonna pull exact text off the key funding bill that failed. That's what I would like to do. Yes.
So basically, it's because they're trying to add something at the last minute, so they're arguing it whether it should be added or not, or changed.
Right.
It sounds like.
And you know, honestly, I don't think this is a Democratic or a Republican issue. I think this is I think the Democrats just want to kind of be a thorn in their side, and they're just going to continue to be a thorn in the side because, well, let's face it, Trump's a thorn in their side. So,
Right.
you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The Congressional Research Service, CRS, has reported title past government shutdowns, key resources, which includes links to full text documents when available. And you can find the summary of the failed stopgap funding measure from September 19, 2025, a continuing resolution to fund the government through November 1st that the Senate rejected. And I'm going to bring that up right here.
Well, I remember being, a reservist, and they would always delay the October drill because there's always going to be a continuing resolution or something that had to be passed to keep the government going just in case. So they always delayed us like to the third week. And usually we were the first week, but they delayed us till the third week just so that we could make sure the government was going to be funded and we were going to be paid.
And I don't see anything that strikes like this is like this is like old news. This isn't like up to date news. So I'll definitely have to look into this, but I am getting to the point where I'm kind of tired of these leaders and these political people that we've appointed, and let's not let it be shadowed that the reason why we're in the government shutdown the way that we are is because everybody in this United States, everybody in society, we voted wrong. We didn't vote for the right candidate, because if we voted for the right candidate, we wouldn't be in the mess that we are. They're more worried about either lining their pockets, or they're more about being a part of the good old boy system rather than doing what needs to happen and doing what's right. And this goes on both sides of the spectrum. Trump doesn't seem to care. Point blank, he doesn't seem to care, and that does kind of worry me. And when JD Vance comes, and you know how I do it, I talk right in the middle.
Yeah.
I voted for Trump, but right now I'm not too crazy about his ideas. And then when JD Vance came on and talked about using how Democrats are using this agenda and stuff to obligate their narrative, and using the government shutdown as a way to get back to the people. Hey, JD, learn your history before you even open your mouth, okay? Because Trump did that shit his first term. The government shutdown was shut down for 35 days because Trump wanted to get what he wanted, and he got it done. It was all about that stupid damn wall that never happened, okay? And that's a good indication why these government shutdowns are a waste of time. They're stupid, and we never had them before 1976. So we need to end this government shutdown bullshit. We honestly do. It's kind of pissing me off. But did you want to go on another break? And then when we come back off of the next break, we can hit the as the White House turns.
We can, but what I also want to just make note of is, aren't we adults? Aren't people in Congress and Senate adults? Can't adults come together and sit down at the table? Do we have to say, no, I'm not going to share my toys with you because I'm mad or because I don't like what you just said to me? I mean, like, this is what it seems to be. It doesn't seem to be, like working together for the American public. It doesn't seem like they're trying to do anything that's collaborative. And, I think Trump does care. He's probably not showing his hand. He's probably doing stuff in the background. I don't know, maybe not. But I just think it's up to the adults in the room to be adults, and they're not. And that's what's upsetting.
Yeah, that's exactly the truth too. It's exactly the truth. I echo that 100% behind. And we can sit here and have a show and talk about this and gripe about this, but yeah.
So if anybody wants something to protest the shutdown. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that and get them people back to work and back to being paid and taken care of.
Yeah.
So let's listen to Die Tired, Need to Feed. Here we go.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And welcome back to MBR on Beyond the Headlines. Love that music.
Sorry, I love that.
That's
Oh boy.
Hey,
Yes.
did you hear that we have a collaboration shirt with Die Tired?
I did, and it has Beaker the Duck on
It
it.
does. It's super cool.
I do, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you can help MBR. You can help us, our Veterans Mental Health Month. Go to mbradio.us. Go to the shop. Buy your shirt. Don't waste time. Go buy it today. Make a difference.
Definitely.
Make an impact.
And you're helping Die Tired spread the message of mental health awareness too, because it's a collaborative effort. So both of us are supporting that mental health effort. And so buying a shirt supports both of us in that mission set. So go check it out. It's super cool. And the shirts are super soft. You'll want one. I promise you, you'll want one.
Yeah, you know, you keep on talking about how soft these shirts, Tracer. It's kind of turning me on. I can't wait to get the shirt. You know, I'm kind of when it comes to shirts, I'm kind of a shirt Nazi. Like it has to be soft because you know this is just a good rule of thumb. Anybody that's out there to buy shirts, okay, you know, everybody. There's no different way of making shirts. You know, there's nobody that, you know, like puts mayonnaise on it and then puts the shirt on and then, you know, it turns out to be, everybody makes their shirts the exact same way. The key aspect is we're talking about pennies. Okay. So from one shirt company to another shirt company, you know, they might be able to cut like 1 or 2 pennies off, but eventually the work ethic, the character of the shirt is what counts. And I'm telling you, if you get a shirt that's 50-50 cotton, I'm telling you, you're wasting your money because that shirt's going to be right next to your Tim Tebow jersey in the closet. Okay. You have to get a tri-blend. You have to get a shirt that's comfortable. And the reason why I bring this up is look at almost all the shirts that Harley Davidson sells. All those shirts are like mocked up like $40-50, but the shirts are soft.
Mm-hmm.
Shirts are comfortable. You know, when you wear the shirt, you know, the graphic on the back isn't so thick that your back hairs are sweating. All right.
Or that you're itching or it.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. So I got a really good one today.
All right.
Are you ready for As the White House Turns?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So don't get me wrong, rallies are great, but if we really want to be heard and change policy, we need to hit the system where it hurts, the wallet. We didn't hear much about this on mainstream media, but on October 3rd, over 2 million Italians shut down their countries in the largest modern strike in Italian history. And it was all in solidarity with Gaza. Transportation halted. Schools closed. Ports frozen. It wasn't that it was just a protest. It was a message to their government. We see what you're doing, and we won't be complicit. That's economic resistance in action. And this isn't some French tactic. It's straight from the Civil Rights Movement playbook. Do you remember the Montgomery bus boycott of 1955? Black residents stopped riding buses for over a year. It forced a Supreme Court ruling and broke the back of segregation in transit. And same thing in apartheid South Africa. Again, not just protests, it was targeted economic boycotts, strikes, and global pressure. Black South Africans led labor strikes, while international allies boycotted South African goods. And that pressure eventually cracked the apartheid regime. So we're in a moment now with Gaza being the spark and uncovering the corruption and unfair system in our government. US politicians sent so many weapons to Israel and billions of dollars. Meanwhile, our communities at home are being gutted. Federal workers are being laid off. Affordable Care Act health subsidies are set to expire at the end of this year, and programs we rely on are disappearing. People won't have SNAP benefits next month, and our tax dollars are being rerouted to fund foreign pariah states committing war crime and to mega billionaires in tax cuts and entitlements for them. And who's running this government? It's the oligarchs and the technocrats, the large campaign donors. Trump even bragged in his Tel Aviv speech that unelected billionaires and lobbyists are the ones shaping US policy. So no, a petition won't fix this. It's time for a very well coordinated, unified, strategic strike on a massive scale. No shopping, no working, no distraction, because they want us to continue to consume, to keep their system running at the expense of us, the hardworking American families. We have been trained to believe we are powerless. But the truth is this: the system does not move without us. And Italy just showed us what's possible. So the question is, will we keep playing by their rules? Or will we make them feel the cost of ignoring us? It's time.
Now, I talked about this last week, and it just goes true that there's two types of people in this world, and when now we live in a society where everybody is starting to get thick skin because they're all pissed and stuff. So now it even holds even truer. But there's two types of people in this world. There's the type of person that they care what people say, they care what people do. They care that they're getting called out and stuff. I'll be transparent. I'm one of those people. I do care about what people say and what people do to me. I have people like Tracer kind of help me or whatever, because kind of defeats me like a tire. But then you have that second type of person, and I want you to think about this, okay? If calling them out and people making fun of them or saying their name, if it doesn't bother them, what bothers them? Their paycheck. Mm-hmm. The only thing that really makes a difference. So when it comes to the paycheck, this is what I strongly encourage. And unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things where, it's something that we'll just have to deal with. Okay. First of all, the NFL is going around right now. Everybody's watching Sunday games and stuff like that. You protest because players kneel or whatever. Okay. Well, how about we protest? We don't watch the NFL. We don't watch anything TV wise completely at all. I mean, you can just watch TikToks or social medias, but just not watch TV at all, because if the TV is getting hit, well, they're going to go say something to Trump and the other administration. Hey, they're not watching TV. I mean, hell, you see what happened with Cracker Barrel. People kind of said no to go on Cracker Barrel. We're not gonna go to that restaurant. We're not gonna feed. We're just gonna keep talking about it. Not going. What happened? Within a week, Trump got involved, and we're not changing the logo after all. That's the protest that I'm talking about. The silent protest where you don't bother anybody driving. You don't bother anybody, dressing up in inflatable costumes, which I got to say, I do love that idea. I love the little mascot thing. Okay. So whoever thought of that, good job on that. I love that. That's very entertaining, but we need to quit watching TV. We need to, it would suck. I don't know how far you live away from your work, Trace, but it would suck. Quit driving. Walk or take a horse, or carpool or something like that. When you stop spending money, that's when the government's going to take note, because whenever you do spend money, there's this thing called tax that you have to pay. Like when you pay a bill for like Comcast, or when you pay, pay for your gas, or even when you go out to eat or something, there's that little addition tax, and those pennies, those roll up. And if the tax, if America, if the government isn't getting that tax, oh, they're going to start looking. They're going to start watching. Why is this happening? Remember, nobody gives a shit until it starts affecting them.
Right, that's true. Or remember the Boston Tea Party?
Exactly.
All the tea went into the harbor?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You want to talk about protest that's going to make a mark. Well, hit them where their wallet is. That's going to hit that's going to make a mark. I mean, just think about it. Anything that you buy, ask them, hey, is there a tax on this? If they say yes, I'm not interested. Is there a tax on this? Nope, no tax. Okay, I'll buy it. Who says that you have to go to Walmart? You can go to like the little mom and pop shops, or people that just make things, do
The
stuff.
barter system, you trade this.
Exactly, the barter system,
Mhm.
Exactly. I'll cut somebody's grass if they cook me a meal. It's just stuff like that. And it doesn't have to be forever. We just have to do it until they take mark. If I'm not mistaken, we had a gas protest about a year ago, to where everybody said, okay, on this day, no gas. And like, I went to the pumps and I was really surprised. Like, nobody was at the pumps. And within that weekend, the gas went down. And
Yeah.
Biden was in office. He I forget what he did. He took away some kind of like tax or whatever to bring the gas down. But see, they listened. They
Right.
listened. So just something to keep in mind. I like where her head's at. That it's gonna hit her where her wallet. Because remember, these politicians, they don't give a shit about you. Okay, you get a DUI, you call Bernie Sanders, he's not gonna bail you out.
No.
Hell, I wouldn't bail you out, depending on if I have the money. But we need to quit fighting with each other, and cut the snake's head off at the top. That's all I'm saying. So that is my as the White House turns.
Well, I don't know if I agree with everything she said, but in general, I think she's right, and I think you're right. And the only way we make a difference for some of these things is if we, the people, stand up for what we think is right and what we know to be true. Because if like the adults aren't going to be adults in Washington, then somebody has to be the adults in the room and make them come to the table, because people are suffering because of their inability to get along or to agree or to come to a compromise. And why should the American people have to suffer because they're not willing to give any? I think there's common ground that can be gained on both sides, and then maybe for a short term, maybe for the remainder of the year, and then you negotiate a new deal come in 2026 for the next year's budget. You start working on what you can agree upon and develop a new plan for FY27. But there has to be something. There has to be somebody getting along somewhere and doing something. So if the only way to do that is to have people stop doing something that will affect the change, then maybe that's what we do. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And there's what I'm going to do real quick. If not to stop the progress of the show or anything, but if you look to the left of, we have that QR code, and that QR code right now it's buy a reef. And Trace kind of brought up the whole the whole buy the reef idea and what we're trying to do. $17. And you send a message to us, we will make sure that we not only give a salute, but we'll send you a picture of your loved one with the wreath on your thing. Okay.
On the headstone.
This QR code that I'm now posting up, that's right above Tracer's head. This is the Die Tired shirt. So if you want to support, go and grab that. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention before we lose time is that we have something that we started now with Military Broadcast Radio, and I would really encourage everybody to get a part of it. It's only $5 a month. I mean, uh, I get less money for taking pictures of my feet on that feet app. It's $5 a month, and that $5 a month includes 5 pages of coloring, so that you and your family can interact with each other over the weekend, and it supports not only veterans, but it also supports your family. The icebreaker, bringing you guys together. I also have a thing in there that spotlights a veteran band or a veteran artist. We have a lot of veteran bands and veteran artists that we play here on the show. And so far, the first one that we played was "Die Tired," and the second one that we pushed and we spotlighted was Shannon Book. Who are we going to spotlight this next time? I don't know, but the important thing is help us out. If you feel MBR is important, what we do, because everybody says that they think that's important. Show it, don't say it. Show it. It's just $5 a month. Just $5 a month. Help us out. Help us help you. So those are the two things that I wanted to bring up. And I think I'm getting pretty good at the coloring page. One of the pages that I drew up, and I'll share it.
Yeah, the coloring pages are done by H. He makes these coloring pages, and I think he does an amazing job. He is getting really, really good with animation and cartooning. It's next level now.
I would say cartooning. I wouldn't say animation. Murph Man is the one that helps me with the animation. But like this one, when I posted this upon the Richard Starr Act, I posted this, and I had a couple battle buddies wrote me, and they're like, "Dude, I felt that." That's a strong statement, because it is. Because veterans only get talked about when it fits their narrative or it fits their agenda, or when they want to send us to war. Not even talking about like the government shutdown or Richard Starr Act or anything like that. But every time somebody talks about, oh, well, we're gonna send money to Israel, or we're gonna send money to to rebuild Gaza and stuff like that, then it's like, why are we doing that when we have veterans that are sleeping on the picnic tables or sleeping on the streets? We have veterans that are homeless. Dude, we've had veterans that are homeless forever. Don't use us as your pawn to get your point across. Yeah. If you want to help us, but don't use us as a pawn to get your point across. That's one thing that drives me, and I'm not the greatest advocate for veterans, but I guarantee you I'm one of those that I will give you up my sandwich to a veteran before I eat it.
Yeah, and I agree, and you, like you said, we've had homeless veterans for a long time, and part of the reason we've had homeless veterans is because of PTSD and things like that was never treated and never acknowledged by the government to say there was a problem. So a lot of that is mental health struggle related to combat. And they just haven't acknowledged that, and they're finally now coming full circle and realizing that there was and is problems, and there will be in the future unless somebody steps in the gap and starts making mental health in the service a priority.
That's the truth. It's just sad, but yeah, we have a great platform here that reaches a lot of people. It would be fantastic for my warriors, for my hosts, to see that we had a bunch of people subscribing to this family plan. And you never know, it might bring your family together. That's one of the reasons why I like the podcast with Murph Man and his son doing the show, is because, even though they butt heads during the show sometimes, they're still building a bond. They're still they're still getting a lot closer. And when you get a lot closer to people and you have that supportive community, man, you feel like you're on top of the world. Like I was telling my friend Josie yesterday, it's a cynical world that we live in today, because no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, it is normal. And I want to really key phrases. This is normal for you to feel like you're on top of the world one day, and then tomorrow you feel like you're completely alone. And I want everybody to know that. That's completely normal. And when you feel completely alone like that, you're like in a garden. Find the flower. Get away from the weeds. Get away from the weeds. Find the flower. Find that energy that is going to elevate you to that next step. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. And, all these veterans out there that, talking about people, reach out. Quit telling people to reach out. When you sense your battle buddy is quiet or they're not talking much, you reach out to them. Hey, I just want to make sure that you're quiet because you're busy, and you're not quiet because you're second guessing yourself or you're debating yourself inside your head.
Right.
Be proactive. All right, I'll get off my soapdish now.
Well, I think you speak the truth, because you should reach out to your people, because they won't always reach out to you. So, king of the world today, nailed it, H. That's funny.
I love him. I love him.
He's the best, and he's actually on pretty quick. So.
Oh yeah, he's on next, everybody. If you want to hear a good show, you want to tune into Josh. His shit makes you think. I like it. I like him. He can come home and date my sister. So, he's married, but anyway. So, but do you have anything other than that, Trace? If not, then I guess we'll pop this popsicle stand.
Well, we will. But there's these song lyrics that I just love, and it says they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. So be the seeds that are buried and sprout up. Like, don't let being buried with something be not the reason you don't grow and flourish, because seeds are buried and then they sprout. So even if they try to bury it, they don't know your seeds. So grow. All right. I guess we're ready to go. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I hope you got something out of it. I know we did.
We'll see you guys next Monday, same bad time, same bad channel, Beyond the Headlines, here on MBR, where we're not here for us. We're here for you. Giving our veterans a voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.